Hey, this is Richard Graves of the Richard Graves Groups. How you guys doing this evening, or this morning, I should say. I'm used to doing the show at night. I'm going to have J.L. Harris on. He's an author, entrepreneur, chef, great all-around person. I'm going to have him on the show today. We're going to talk about what's going on in Metro Chicago, specifically Aurora, and they have an upcoming election, and all the things that are going on in Aurora, and the community activism that's taking place, and actually what's needed to make Aurora a better place. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a little background with JL. I'm going to show his video Rise. I think you all will learn from it. Great video. Let me get it all set up for you all. And then we'll be on right after that. So here we go.
What you like to see? Give me a little sample. Stand up. Hold on. Stand up. Give me a little sample. Hold on. Come on. This is what it's about. Let me tell you something. I'm here to encourage you and inspire you. I believe you can sing. In order to make it in life, look at me. You have to seize your moment.
I climb every mountain and swim every ocean just to be with you and fix what I've broken.
Life can be challenging and at times overwhelming. But life can also be beautiful. Like the sun rising over the horizon, bring forth a new day. Another chance to breathe. Another chance to rise. Rise.
It's the rare.
Rise.
Hang them up there. The rare.
Rise.
Hip hop.
I live my life to inspire the world. It doesn't matter what you look like, or where you come from, or what you've been through. If you believe in yourself, you can make it. You can pull through. I know what hopelessness feels like when you're searching for something and there's nothing there. I know how it feels getting knocked down, and when you try to get up, you get knocked down again.
So I told it's a bad lane. And it cost me years in prison. I know my prison. I mean, I know somebody in jail. Almost everybody here knows somebody in jail.
Rise.
The rare.
Rise. No matter the pressure, no matter the pain, one thing I do know, God won't give up on you if you don't give up on yourself. You come from greatness. You got to stand up and rise.
About the good path and the bad path, and that if you were sentenced or anything, you can go back and be successful again. Even though you fell down, you can get back up again.
All right. So I'm about to bring Brother JL on. One thing I'm gonna say, every time I see that video, I'm inspired. It's a great video, even though I do want to be like, it's the real hip hop, hip hop, hip hop when I hear it, because I'll be hearing Prodigy and them when I hear it. But JL got a smooth and strong voice in that. And honestly, I think that's one of the most powerful videos I've seen about dealing with the issues in Aurora and dealing not just Aurora, but JL's been doing stuff that deals with children, teenagers, grown men of all races, all ethnicities in different cities throughout the country, actually. And I'm gonna bring him on so he can tell more about himself. But I'm just very proud of this brother. I've known this guy, since we were teenagers when I was a young breakdancer. He's always been an intelligent brother, always been a brother that you could listen to, and a great leader, no matter what he was leading. So I'm gonna bring the brother on without further ado. Here's brother J.L. Harris.
Good morning. How you doing, brother?
Good morning, brother. Glad to have you on. This time we seem to be doing pretty smooth technologically. So I'm looking forward to hearing you speak. So I've said my piece about you. Tell us about yourself. Tell us who you are, where you came from, and where you're at and where you're going.
Okay. Well, for those who don't know, my name is Harris. I'm originally from the South Side of Chicago. My mother moved us to Aurora in the late 70s. And Aurora was, I admit, it was something to get used to because I was, on the South Side of Chicago, and my school was all Black. So now I'm in classes where, hey, I'm the only Black. So it was a difficult transition to here to the suburbs. But I came to love Aurora. Aurora is my second home. I got a lot of love for the city. Along the way, I made some mistakes, getting involved in gangs and drugs, and so that life right there derailed me from the life I was supposed to be living, because I always had a passion to help people. That's what I was doing, even back in the teenage years with Aurora Township. Every time you see 313 Gale Street, yeah, we put that together. So that was home. That was our foundation. So as I went on, I started to suffer as adolescents. I was always troubled by racism going on. And so that used to bother me. It used to trouble me when I was a kid to find out that white people treated us so bad. That bothered me, So as I moved forward in life, it still hung it over me. But as I got older and when I dropped out of college, because I needed to find a job, work, and I dipped and dabbled in the drug life, trying to find a way out from being poor. And that derailed. That was a bad decision. I made a lot of bad decisions, poor decisions. So I was sitting in a cell, shackles and chains and cuffs. And I was angry, more angry, not at the system, but at myself, because I allowed myself to get caught up in this, And I used to ride past Joliet when I was a kid all the time. And it used to look so, monstrous, like ancient times, medieval building. And so now I'm living in there, so it was it driven me to be who I am today, So when I woke up, I was serving 25 years for armed robbery, and like, I make no mistake. Hey, I made mistakes, and I think I paid for them severely. But I'm not here to make excuses. I'm here to get results in action, So the things I'm doing in life now, while I was incarcerated, I put a blueprint together of all the things I wanted to do when I got out, to help people. I wanted to write books. I wanted to speak, to own my own business. I want to do all these things because God said, don't think small, think biggie. And so that's what got me to be able to, through all those times, those hard times in prison, was God. He propelled me out. He told me that, hey, I can show you a better way. And I listened. And I said, okay, I've been ducking God's for so long. I knew he had a calling on me. I knew, because a woman told me when I was a long time ago, a woman said, God got something for you. And that scared me, because I knew something was inside, suppress it. I didn't want it. I didn't want that life. I didn't want to be out there, speaking up and doing all these things. I know what it comes with. We see what happened to Malcolm X. We see what happened to Martin Luther King Jr. Anybody who has a voice, and they stand up on their voice, yeah, they label, you know? So I was running from that. So finally, God said, this is what you're going to do. And so here I am after 4,952 days locked up in a cage. I'm ready, you know? And I've been home almost 8 years, a lifetime. I have 4 books out. I'm working on my 5th book. I write a magazine, a Rise magazine, that goes into the circulation in the Kane County jails and to help give hope and inspiration to inmates who are lost, found themselves lost. I used to be lost, so I understand. So that's where I'm at, brother. You know, I'm happy to be where I'm at today. You know, I thank God for He took me through those trials and tribulations. You know, because without it, I wouldn't be here. You know.
Amazing. All right. Well, now you brought up the fact that you've written all these books. Can you tell us the titles of these books briefly and let us know? I mean, I know your books are all available on Amazon.com, and
Sure.
I want everyone in the sound of my voice and who watches this video, support this man as an author. His books are amazing. My wife has read his books. She enjoys them. They've gotten a lot of circulation. I hope to one day be part of one of these movies he's going to probably end up making for one of these books. You know, I just want a small role, JL, maybe the soundtrack. But but go ahead and tell us about your books. Tell us the titles, and and just let us know what inspired you to become a writer. I know you were in prison. You were thinking.
Okay.
You put your plan together. So talk to us about that.
Yes, when I was in prison, I read over 300 books. I educated myself when I was in jail. That's one of the things I did do. I searched for knowledge at 360 degrees every single day. I wanted to be so, one thing about being incarcerated, it gives you a chance to work, a chance to find your path. So when I found my path, I call it my 3 Ps: my passion, my path, and my purpose. When I found that 3 right there, nothing could stop me. I was motivated. I was inspired every single day. So I put the blueprint together. So I started writing my first book in prisons, how I wanted to write it. And so when I got out, I published it, and it's called Deadly Betrayal by Cooley. Now, this is one of my first bangers, and I sold at least so this book right here, I was inspired to write this reading so many urban novels in jail, because that's what they do when you locked up incarcerated. All you do is read. You know what I'm saying? So I said, you know what? I've been reading a lot of books from Donald Goins to James Patterson. I read over 400 books in prison. So I said, you know what? I'm not reading any more books. I'm going to start writing my own book. So this was the first one I came up with, was Deadly Betrayal. And this book is on Amazon. It's 5 stars. And I'm blessed to be in position to be able to write like this. It was a hit. I said, you know what? Can I top it? So I came back again. So I came with Money, Mackin' and Murder. So this book right here is one of my favorites because I'm on the front cover. You know what I'm saying? That's me in my gangster. So this book right here, we actually, people want to turn this into a film. And so they've been talking, but they need to come up with a little more money for me to be able to make that happen. But no doubt, this one right here, I'm writing part 2 to this, the sequel, and it's going to be turned out. And so my third book is my favorite book, because it's called Black Rain Outside My Window. This can be also found on Amazon. This is by me, J.L. Harris. This is a 5-star book. This is my memoir. It's my life. This is my struggles and my pain. This is my everything. You know what I'm saying? So this book right here is my bestseller. I'd sold more copies of this book than any other book. And it's still selling. And I appreciate everybody who supports me and reads these books. It's a blessing. To be able to see it, it's really it's an amazing thing to see. And my 4th book is called Go Corey. This is a kid's book. And I wrote this book right here. It's also on Amazon. I wrote this book right here because as a kid, I used to love baseball. And I think as in the Black community, we don't play baseball like we used to. And that's I'm trying to get kids to get back into that. And I do plan on turning this one into a cartoon for the kids. So I have a lot of inspiration to be able to, I want to do film. So that's going to be my next challenge. And right now I'm writing a screenplay. for the a movie that I'm working on. And so it's a lot of things going on in my life that I'm blessed with, you know what I'm saying? And I think I put the work in, you know. I want to outwork everyone. When I came out of prison, I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to outwork everybody else because I know they're going to use my past against me. They're going to say, oh, you've been to prison. We're not going to work with you. We're not going to deal with you. And that's what happened. And so I said, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to outwork all of you out there. You ain't got to work with me. I ain't got to go work for nobody else. I'm on school details. And so right now, this detailing business has, from the ground up, we're one of the best in the business. You know what I'm saying? So everything I touch, it works, man. And I'm just blessed, you know, to be in position, you know. And like I say, when they use my past against me, I start telling them all the time, like, trying to bring up my past. It's like bringing my old house. I don't live there anymore, you know.
Amen. I respect it. Well, I want to also say, as far as your detail service, let me be clear on this. Any of you guys out in the Aurora, Oswego, Montgomery, St. Charles, Kane County, DuPage County, Kendall County, Will County area, J.L. came out and my daughter's car, he hooked it up. You know how you know how kids do a car, and
Of course.
by the time he got done with it, it was dealership ready. I'm waiting for the weather to break to get my wife and daughter's car done again. He does a great job. It's definitely worth the money. He is more than competitive in pricing, and like I said, I'm proud of this brother. And let me just put that out there again. I know the other day I got to interview one of my childhood idols, Man Parrish. And I was excited about interviewing him. I'm just as excited about interviewing my brother Gerald here, because J.L., you know, like I said, we came up together as teenagers out in Aurora.
Yes.
And you know, he went to prison. Hey, it could happen to anybody. You know, when I'm in the prison environment, I make it very clear when I'm talking to inmates or offenders. I say, hey, man, the only difference is you got caught. I didn't. A lot of us didn't, you know, with different things. So ain't no judgment there for me. I mean, and I'm just glad, you know, right now I work with reentry, and Gerald is a picture of what reentry is supposed to look like. Not making excuses, not saying, you know, just because, you know, I got a felony. He made a way, he made a path. And it's not just inspiring just so people get out of prison. He inspires me, you know, to complete projects I'm doing, because he is a hustler. He gonna work and gonna push it and gonna get them books published, gonna do his business. He's a great chef, you know, activist in the community. You know, that's inspiring to anybody. I don't care what background you come from. That should be something to inspire you. Now, you talked about coming out, doing your thing, and not letting your past stop you. I've noticed that you've been very involved in the community in Aurora, very involved in the activism, the anti-gang activism, trying to keep the violence down. You speak at Kane County Jail. You've spoken at prisons and jails across the country. Before we get into community activism, tell us what you do when you go to Kane County, when you've been down to Florida, across the country, when you've been to prisons in the state of Illinois. What is the message that you bring the offenders? What is it that you go and talk to them about? Tell us about that a bit.
Well, thank you, Richard. Well, shout out to Ron Hain for allowing me and Mr. Victor Woods to come in that jail with our program, my RISE program. And what we do, RISE stands for Reaching into Self-Enlightenment. So what we're doing, we all have gifts. God gave everyone gifts. And so when you were a kid, you didn't say, hey, I want to be going. We make them go back to that childhood and see how they got here. How did you get here? And let's keep it real. And it's a real humbling experience to be able to walk in a place that I once was held 20 years ago. I came in there handcuffed, you know, through the back door. Now I'm coming in there with my briefcase through the front door. You know, that's inspiration to those guys. You know, I used to be you. And so I go in their cells with them and sit there and kick it with them. And they're just so like you in here. But it's inspiration for them. It's motivation. Look, if I can do this, if you can, I always tell them that, if you can do the jail, if you can do the jail, and jail is the hardest thing to do. If you can do this in here, there's nothing you can't do out there. Nothing. You all have the power to go out there and devour anything you want to do, because this is hell right here, living in here. Now, if you can do this right here, you can go in here and work for $15 a month. There's no reason why you can't go out there and work for $3,000 a month. You know, so we give them hope. And that's to me in a dark place where hope is sometimes hopeless. And I understand that. I've been there. I know what hopeless feels like. I know how it feels to be broken, messed up, and you want to be mad at the world. But I also know how it feels to be able to be humble and be like, hey, it's going to be okay. But that's what the main message we give is hope, and give them some inspiration that, hey, we've been where you are and look at us now.
Amen. Now, I know that right now you're working on this activism out in Aurora, a specific situation that we've seen on the news. I've seen on CBS. I've seen talked about on NPR or BZ here in Chicago. There's a store owner out in Aurora on Route 31, Jericho Road, has a small convenience store. From what I gather, this man, it's one of those convenience stores. We see them everywhere. In New York, they call them bodegas. In Chicago, corner stores. So the man has his little corner store with the overpriced merchandise that he's, exploiting the community on, stuff he's probably going to Dollar Tree and getting on sale for $4 or $5. That's bad enough. But I'm not going to hurt.
Yes.
I'm not going to fault the man. I mean, that unfortunately is the business model when you got a convenience store where people don't have access to things, which is another problem that we should talk about in Aurora. If this community don't get access to a Walmart or Dollar General or a freaking a Jewel or Osco or Walgreens, that's a problem. That's a problem in itself. But that's a different discussion when we talk about infrastructure in Aurora. We'll talk about that. But so he's got this corner store. Now, from what I gather in reading the news stories, what this man was doing is when Black customers particularly would come in this corner store or this convenience store, when they come in the store, he would have, particularly Black males, he would have them, as opposed to taking their mask down, simply if you're buying alcohol or something that you need an ID for, it wasn't just take your mask down, it's look in the camera too, look in the camera. Like like you're living in some Soviet state or something, and I know this came to your attention and you're one that took the bull by the horns. So tell us a little bit about the situation, the owner of the store, how we got to where we are and what you're trying to accomplish there.
Yeah, I received a phone call, like so many phone calls I receive. I get a lot of text messages from people in the community. I do a lot of resourcing and helping. One of my groups I found was On the Move, OTM. And that's a group that is about communicating for the Black people, for the Black community. And so I started this group like 3 years ago. And we do a lot of actual money to fight gang.
Sorry about that feedback. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's no problem. It's okay. So what my group On the Move do, we're real activists in the community. We get out, our boots on the ground, 365. We always helping the community. So this phone call came from a woman that I know and went to school with, and she know I work with a young man, and she has a young man who had a situation with this guy George on this corner store, and so I know who George was. So I've been getting calls about this guy, and so I got to go see what's going on. So I went to talk to these young men. And they wanted to do some damage. And I said, ho, that's not what we're about. Let me go and handle this. And so I went in and as a plant and bought a can of beer and went in there and tried to get it to purchase. He didn't want my ID. He wanted me to remove my mask and look into the camera. I already know what's going on, so I'm not slow. As I said, dude, I'm not doing that. I said, what you racial profiling? He said, I'm showing all these little things he has up there. I said, man, I've been all across this country and all across this state. They're not doing that nowhere. I said, I'm not removing nothing, man. I'm looking at no camera. So he told me to get the hell out of his store. And we had a few arguments. The argument happened right there. And I told him, my name is J.L. Harris. I'm an activist in the community, and I'm coming back to shut you down. And so he perceived me saying, shut you down. I was going to shoot him down. I said, sir, I did not say that. I said, I'm going to shut you down. I'm going to close your establishment. So he called the police and told the police that I was going to shoot him down. And he tried to get me arrested. Now I'm furious because I've been to jail on a lie before. And so I'm furious now because if he's doing this to me, he's probably done it to someone else. So the cops know who I am, of course. You know what I'm saying? So they weren't buying his story because they know that's just what I do. So I'm like, okay, I'll be back. And so 6 days later, I was back to shut him down, and that's when the operation shut him down started. And now today we're at day 56, and it's continued to go on because this guy is a plain racist, you know, and he has called me every name but a child of God, brother. And so that's why we're there. We're there because he's a disrespectful person. He's been doing this for so long. And I think you got some video footage you're going to probably show in a few minutes, but that's why we're here. And I want people to see that this guy is playing a game. And this game is it's not fun. He thinks I'm a worthy opponent now. First, I was a nothing, a nobody, but now he's seeing that, hey, I'm somebody, man. And it's all about respect here, brother. It's all about respect. He has to respect. And we shouldn't be keep going through this craziness out here. We are a community that still harbors these type of people. And he thinks by bringing up my past, because I went to prison, that's going to stop me, and he's going to send the police at me all the time out there. I'm a peaceful protester. I have a sign. There's people who came with guns to try to get me off that corner. There's people who said racial slurs at me to get me off that corner. This is here in Aurora, and it's not being talked about. You can't build a city and forget about all the bad things that happen and just need to iron all this out. And all I'm asking this man to do is to respect the community. And shut him down stands for not only close his establishment down, but close everything he stands for down. Racial profiling, price gouging, disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
The guy disrespected the kid, who came in there. She was not buying any alcohol. She's 14 years old. He asked her to remove her mask. And then when she removed the mask, he said, "Oh, here and put your mask back on." Are you kidding me? This is what we're putting up in this city, our great city of Aurora.
Wow. Well, I'm going to run
the calls to come out.
I'm going to run the video real quick, and I'm going to give you guys some background as far as what happens daily as Mr. Harris is protesting. Real quick, JL, the OTM shirt on the move. How do I purchase that merchandise? How do I get that to support the movement?
Don't worry. These shirts go for $12.99. I'll make sure you get one. Which size you wear, brother?
Extra large.
Extra large. I got you.
Yep. All right. Let me run this video to give the people some back.
No problem. Wake up the people.
All right.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me how to run the business, or you're gonna shut me down. Make up your mind, dude.
Well, I got to decide what I'm going to do.
At least you get honest, okay?
I'm going to decide what I'm going to do, George.
You're a smart guy and determined. You're a smart guy and determined. You're a smart guy and determined. You have a stupid coach. But do you think that maybe on the other side is somebody that's thinking like you do and being determined? Did you ever think about that?
There's a whole bunch of people thinking like that. I'm giving them something to think about. I'm showing them a different way. Why are you mad now?
You're a piece of shit.
Nah, I'm mad, huh?
Yes, you're a piece of shit.
Why are you upset, George?
Because you're a piece of shit.
George, you got to change, George. George, your cousin threw guns out on me. George, you upset?
But Jay, I respect. I don't care if you bring a million people here. I don't give a fuck. Him I care. Because he was nice, and now he's gonna mix up with you. He's gonna be like shit like you.
George, you gonna be okay, George.
30 years ago when I was
Hey,
building
George,
this town,
I'm
you
very,
would fucking come in
hey,
and cry.
George, I'm very offended of your sign, George.
Jay, the sign's gonna come up again.
I'm very offended, George.
Jay, you know that they're
All black people is not drug dealers and armed robbers, George.
Look at his record. He did time 12.5 years.
What is that?
So what? Look what I'm doing now. Life is not when you start, George. It's when you finish. That's what you got to understand, George. Half your customers been in jail, George. Look where you at. You ain't in Beverly Hills. Look where you at. I'm I'm not destroying your business, George. You can make this all go away. All you gotta do is change and respect. And respect people. That's all we ask is respect. That's simple, George. It's not hard. You gotta change, George. I changed, George. You can change, George. You go fuck yourself, okay? I don't care, George. I don't care, George. All black people are not thugs.
Wow, that was fascinating and telling. Real quick, Gerald, I'm just going to say a couple things. One, um, let's be real. This guy's not super unique. He's one of those guys that has a business in our communities, one of our communities, with black and brown people and even some poor white people, working class, working day to day. And, what we want in any of these communities, I don't care if it's Chicago, New York, LA, Aurora, Joliet, Elgin, Waukegan, Cal City, wherever it's at, when these people who come in our neighborhoods, be they Arab or Asian or Greek or whatever they may be, that when these folks come in the neighborhood, respect the neighborhood, respect the people that you are servicing, because these are the people that let you go live in your nice community, and just respect people, and to this guy, George, if you didn't understand what my boy was saying to you, all you got to do is apologize and change. Stop profiling the customers of your store. Otherwise, I mean, you lucky as cold, because that's why a lot of people ain't been out. But this is not going to get better for you. This is going to get worse as time goes on. As it warms up, more people are probably going to join this. You're going to get more news stories. The lies you're telling about Mr. Harris in regard to him threatening you and this and that, that's going to come out, because there's going to be more witnesses seeing what exactly goes on every day. So if I were you, George, I would get ahead of this, have a sit down with the man, find a neutral third party arbitrator and just work it out. And basically, come to an understanding that you are in a community that allows you to have your lifestyle by the store you own, respect the people that have to come in your store and have to buy your products. But that's enough from me, Gerald. What do you have to say about the whole situation? Tell us how you feel and what you expect and what the outcome you want is.
Well, you said it. You hit it on a button. I want George to respect the people, and that's what it's about. It's about respect. Every man has a right to be able to make a living, but every man don't have a right to disrespect the people who help him make that living. And so that's where we're at with George. And George, like I said, I don't dislike George. He didn't call me everything. You see the language he uses. I still says his name, George. I don't disrespect that man. I said, George, you can't love God and hate your brother. You know what I'm saying? There's no way. You can't take us to heaven when you go, George. And so all we want him to do is change, change. And people, those cars are honking for a reason every single day, because they know what you've been doing for decades over here. And I'm ashamed to say that, and sadly, that we should have done this a long time ago. So we got to stand up to the bully that comes in our neighborhood and take our money from the black and brown community and does nothing for the black and brown community. Nothing. In 8 years since I've been home almost, I have done more than he has done in a lifetime for that community. Why he talks about, oh, you've been to prison. So what? Yes, I may now. I have atoned for my bad behavior, like he should. His bad behavior of disrespecting people. Just because you got money doesn't mean, and little property doesn't mean you can do whatever you want to do. And he thinks that way. Having the police come out over 22 times for pettiness, and it's a shame in the Aurora police for coming out. You got unsolved murders cases to worry about. To come out here and pacify this clown over here, and he's a clown. And I call him a clown because this is a circus he's putting out here, and that's what in other things we should be doing besides pacifying this guy over here who's using the city and thinks the city is supposed to do anything he tells them to do, because I'm no good. It doesn't. I'm gonna tell you this, Richard. It doesn't matter if I wasn't didn't go to jail. You know what I'm saying? He's only using that for excuse. He knows who I am. You see the good George, the nice George. What do you say? You're smart. He always tell me I'm smart. But on the other one, he said I'm a piece of crap. So or I'm a stupid N. But this is which is where we at. So all we want is respect. I'm out there standing on that corner every single day, risking my life, standing up for what I believe in, And so people who always got something to say, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm doing this. I'm out here for the people, because they come by and tell me all the time and thank me for doing this, because it's long overdue. We should have been did it a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. And we have one of our commenters. I'm sorry, I don't know why this echoes so hard, but we got one of our commenters, brother Lorenzo McAllister, also from Aurora, one of the guys that I came up with when I was a young breakdancer and DJ.
What up, Zoe?
And Zoe was one of the people, him with Reggie Chandler and Mike Spikner, the guys got me, and the Reddick brothers, of course, that got me really into mixing. But he did bring up the Plum Street store owner over there. That store has been there since I was a baby. We used to live on Hammond Street, go around there with my mother. And he says this guy treats people with respect. He don't sell liquor there, but he treats people with respect. And again, that's all we ask. We know you're making your living, but again, you're making your living off of these people. Have respect for the people who go to your store, who have to go to your store because they don't have access to a Walgreens or Osco or a Walmart,
Exactly.
So they're stuck coming to your store.
They're stuck.
You're providing a service, and I'm sure the people are thankful that you're providing the service. But on the other hand, you need to respect the people. I mean, this goes back. You talked about the biggest problem between police and the African American community across the country. It's not a question of anything other than respect. If you're a police officer, you come work in the neighborhood. You're not there as an occupying force. You're there to work with the people of the neighborhood to make the neighborhood better. You're supposed to be serving the community that you're in. You got to respect the people that you are there to serve and protect. Just like he has to respect the people that he's decided to open. Nobody made him open that store. He decided to open that store there. And so in that, he needs to respect the people in the neighborhood. Just that simple. Black, brown, white, or otherwise. He needs to respect them. So I appreciate you, commend you for being out there on your grind, because you like Puff Daddy, can't stop, won't stop. You let them have it. All right, but now that we talked about George, it brings up the politics of Aurora. I know you're actively involved in the politics of Aurora.
Yes.
I'm considering a run for state government, and I have a couple friends that are running for state government as well. So I'm always concerned. I no longer live in Aurora, but I'm concerned about Aurora. That's my hometown. That's where I grew up, and another shout out, Gerald said, I just want to point something out. And this is just an example of what type of brother he was or is. Back in the day, we was running around. All of us was running around west side, east side of Aurora. I was a DJ. Gerald, one of the brothers that was always like, hey, man, you need to just do DJ. DJ, stay out of trouble. So, even when he was doing stuff, he was always the type of brother. Yeah, but this ain't for you to be doing, man. You need to just do your thing, and I appreciate that. He's always been straight up solid dude. Me and Kenny Cahill, when we were young DJs coming up, J.L. be at the parties, rooting us on when we were DJing, making us know we doing good. So I appreciate that, brother. I always remember that. But back to Aurora government. All right. Now that we've talked about one problem, like access to infrastructure, encouraging businesses to open up in these communities where people need access. I drove through the east side of Aurora yesterday. It dawned upon me that there is the only jewel on the east side of Aurora is over by Fox Valley off Eola. I didn't see any real department stores, no Walmarts, no Targets in the east side of Aurora at all. No Walmarts, no Targets, no. I seen one Walgreens, maybe two. I seen two Walgreens, but again, I didn't see any immediate cares, clinics, things like that. That people need access to, and more importantly, I know there's development going on in Aurora, and I respect the development. I know the Copley's being redeveloped. It's been development downtown. Some of it, very good development. Some of it, got questions. I know And also, we know that we have an issue with we do have an issue of violent crime can happen in Aurora. We know there's gangs in Aurora, and occasionally stuff turns up, and we've seen a rash of things. Now, I know you have your pulse on the street. You know what's going on. Has anybody reached out to you and some of the other older brothers who know what's going on to have a sit down with maybe the mayor's chief of staff or someone from the mayor's staff and from the police department? It don't got to be the chief of police, obviously, or the mayor himself, but has
Yeah.
anybody said, hey, how can we do better with this? What can we do to bring down this noise? Because we want Aurora to be a place people want to live, regardless of if they're poor or rich, black or white. Has anybody reached out to you? Because I know that you know how to talk to these young men. So has anybody reached out to you to talk to these young men to try to pull this back?
Richard, a lot of time people always ask me, man, you do so much. Why are you not working with the city? Why the city don't have you not using it? I get tired of hearing that. For the record, let me be clear. Richard Irving is a friend of mine. We all grew up together. I do not hate Richard. I supported Richard. I helped his campaign. I went out and voted for Richard. I have never voted in my entire life. Richard Irving is the first person I ever voted for. Wow. So I knew it was going to be like a momentum thing, going in. It's like, because I've always been involved in politics ever since the Reagan and Jimmy Carter. As a kid, I was fascinated by politics. I like it, so I follow it. I'm a CNN dude. All the time I'm watching the news, and so nobody from the city of Aurora has reached out to me, even though I have so much to offer. You know what I'm saying? So, me and Victor Woods 4 years ago, we thought we had a deal with Richard to be able to get ahead of the violence and get in these schools, because what we're doing now across the nation is powerful, you know what I'm saying? And it works. Look at Kane County, you know what I'm saying? It's nice. And Kane County looks good. What we're doing in there, we got people that's getting out of that program and reaching out to me and telling me the things they're doing now. So it's work, but you're going to save somebody. And I get letters all the time from people all around the country. These are J.L. letters, who's in Kane County, thanking me for reaching out and giving them some inspiration, some hope. And now they're doing better things. You see what I'm saying? So it works. And for the city to not take that, I think it was a downer for Aurora. But we took the same program we was gonna give to Ron. We went and gave it to Ron Haynes. And Ron Haynes went down to Florida and saw the program was working down there. He took a flight down to Florida and saw what the program was doing down there and said, let's do it. That's what I'm talking about. He was willing to take a risk at this leadership. And that's what about being a leader is about. You got to go ahead and not just cater to some people. You got to pay to all people, And so for the record, no, and I was really disappointed, Richard, for that. We could have made a big difference and impact, especially on the streets. We was gonna be getting it. We had people set up in place. We was bang, 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 bang. We were ready to go, and it did nothing. I was like, wow, why? When something's so good, See, the problem I think with the city is, man, you can't. I'll say it like this: with the city of Aurora, with Richard, what he's doing. He's sending people who are not qualified to go into this qualified. You're not going to respect them. You can't send sheep to go dance with wolves. That don't even make sense. You send wolves to dance with wolves. That's the only way it works, man. How to catch a thief. Who you going to learn from? You learn from a thief. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't stand it, you can't understand that philosophy, then there's not going to work for you. Then you look at the black and brown and you threw them underneath the bus. Come on, you can't do that. You can't disrespect us. Then the chief, you know what I've been doing out here? I've been on the ground. My boots been on the ground since day one. I have not stopped doing what I'm doing. I'm always talking to these people. I don't have $77 million. I can be like, oh, look at fun here and fun there. Activists don't have the resources like that. We do what we can, not what we want. You know what I'm saying? So they got to understand that. When we can only, I'm one man. You know what I'm saying? But if I had some resources where I could push some things, I had a building. Why are they giving these buildings away to these activists if they can build some structure here? You can't build a whole city up and think infrastructure is going to be great for you. You know what I'm saying? And you leave the people behind. You can't do that because the people in the future, when you build it up, they're going to come tear it down. So you got to understand what you're doing. And you can make Aurora look good with infrastructure and bring all this money in and steal in all these. It's not going to work for all people, man. You want to work for all people, man. And that's what my problem is with this administration and for all people, you know.
Well, let me add this. Well, one, I hear what from now you can correct me if I'm wrong for what I'm hearing you say here. So from what I'm gathering, what you're saying is one, that obviously you want Aurora to work not just for the investors, the business people that are building outlet malls or building casinos or building Starbucks or hotels or whatever. You also want, and you do want that, obviously, but you also want for working class people of Aurora, the blacks and browns and the poor and the whites that are working class that are going to be working these casinos and hotels and whatever opens up because of the the investment that's being poured in for business, which is good. You want also a safe Aurora for their families when they're on the east side of Aurora or the west side of Aurora. You want them to have safe, stable communities, and you would like, and tell me if I'm wrong, what you like is to get some type of grants and help and funding to be able to establish, something to address the issues more formally within the school system, talking to kids. Because I was like in your Rise video, saw a little young boy at the end that was very inspiring, that he was touched by what you had to say. Oh, there's a Waldo, my old school. Yeah,
that's your school.
That's my school. I love Waldo. That was probably the most fun I had in school. In fact, I'm going to be establishing a scholarship for anybody who went to Waldo. I'm going to contact East Aurora Schools this week. It's not going to be like $1 million. I ain't there yet, but $1,000 scholarship for any student that went to Waldo that's graduating from East Aurora that is going to go major in political science, history, public policy, because I'm a history guy, or theology, because I'm a theology guy, or biblical studies. So I'm going to put that out there. I'm going to start with my little $1,000 scholarship from the Richard Graves Group and try to kick it up a little more as we go through time. But, I like I said, I'm always an Auroran from heart. But so have you recently reached out to the mayor, or should those of us, the constituency out in Aurora who's viewing this, people who live in Aurora or people a little bit more politically involved, do you have a problem with us reaching out to the mayor, writing the mayor's office, emailing him saying, hey, we believe this young man or this gentleman can go out and do some good. We need to get him in the schools, like he's in the prisons talking to people. He needs to be in the schools talking to them. Let me be clear. I would prefer, as much as I want to have Mr. Harris, Mr. Victor Woods come through Stateville and Pontiac and Menard and talk to the brothers and all medium and minimum joints, I would prefer that people like Mr. Harris, and specifically Mr. Harris, get to talk to these young black men and young brown boys and young brown men and young whites, all of them, before they come to the prison. I want to talk.
That's the whole goal. That's the goal.
You get them there. So, should we, do you want us to, contact Mayor and say, hey, Mayor, we think that it'd be great for Mr. Harris to be in East Aurora schools and West Aurora schools and him and his group to come in there and engage these young people before they're at King, before they're at the Northern Reception Center, before they're sent to Stateville or Vandalia or wherever they could end up in a negative way. Have you reached out, and do you want us to reach out?
Yes. Listen, brother, that would be wonderful. But like I said, Richard knows what I'm doing. Come on. He's the mayor. He knows what's happening out here. But I want a better Aurora for not just for people that look just like me, but for all people, of course. But mainly for people who look like me, who have been fall down, got back up. But I want to be able to reach them before they get into that situation. You know, like you said, we got to reach them before they get them. And you reach the kids, you got to get them before they're high school, you know, because let's go ahead and look at the stats. The stats says in America, 1.2 kids drop out of school every year. And 38% of the freshman class don't graduate with the senior class. You know what I'm saying? So that's a problem in itself. And I've been a freshman. And when I was a freshman, I'm going to give you one name. Larry Shepard saved me because I was a wild freshman. I was out there, you know, and I was just had to be in high school. Whoa, running around, doing all crazy stuff, you know, because I'm in West High. I'm happy, you know, so, but I was being on the wild side. But he, eye opener, man, and that helped me get through. And I straightened up and went on to play ball and all that stuff. But Larry Shepard was one of those guys that came in my life, was very influential when I was wilding out and told me, like, here, that's enough of that. And so we need more people like that. And I'm that Larry Shepard now. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm doing now for these kids is trying to get them and being able to inspire them. And I'm blessed to be able to take kids from Aurora and then when they work with me in the summer, I'm teaching them how to clean cars. That's a blessing. We give them scholarships to go to school every year. I give out scholarships, 3, 4, 5 of them, many as I can. You know what I'm saying? So that's my passion, you know what I'm saying, to be able to help the youth. That's what I was ready to do. You know, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a youth counselor. You know, that's all I want to do is be a youth counselor. Hey, I'll be a youth counselor, work with kids. That was one of my goals. You know what I'm saying? But God had, you see, God had bigger plans for me because I was always thinking small. And God said, always think biggie. So now I got my own foundation. The Sons of Tomorrow, you see right here behind me, over here. Oh, there it is. You know what I'm saying? So Sons of Tomorrow, you know, that we mentor kids. We have here's some of our brochures. We have a 30-day RISE program we can offer for these kids. And come on, man, I'm doing it everywhere, man. We have programs that can be here in Aurora. Why do people in Florida? I'm contracted in Florida, Sarasota, with these RISE programs. You know, we should be doing RISE right here in Aurora, in my town. You know,
so let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. You have this RISE program.
Yes.
You've been successful out of state. Okay. And you're telling me, I just want to make sure before I start asking some questions of some folks, that this is a program that offers a basic internship over the summer for kids to learn a trade, how to detail vehicles, and not just simply learn to trade or detail vehicles, but to spend time with adult male. Some of these kids, I'm assuming, don't have adult male role models. That they can spend time with an adult male that can say, hey, I've done the wrong thing, and this is what it got me, and I'm doing the right thing, and this is where it got me. And you mean to tell me that the city of Aurora Township has not enacted this program or not embraced it? Fascinating.
No, and I've spoken in front of the Aurora Township, and I have gave Bill Catchings, I have gave him some brochures. I never got a phone call, never. You know, and y'all sit in the house that I built. You know, so it's like, you know, it's just like disrespectful. You know, it's like, you know, we got to keep on. I got to keep on knocking on doors, and I'm out here doing the work. I'm putting in the work. Where you at? You know, what you want to do? Saying, and that's the problem that I have with these people. It's like, do you understand this? This is powerful here. This can help. I got some answers to violence. I got some answers to schools. I could teach them how to be etiquette. A lot of the kids we need that comes from the Black and brown community, let's face it, a lot of them are coming from single mothers' homes and stuff. They don't have the father figure there. And so these kids that I talk to, some of these kids are on pills at 15 years old. They're taking pills, mollies, and popping out. They're going crazy out here. And they don't see us behind a desk with some data. You got to get on the ground, man. Come walk with me and see what I see. You see the homeless out there. I'm out there feeding them all the time. You know, I don't care about giving them some money. Every time they out here hustling, they try. Man, you don't understand. I've been homeless. So I understand how it feels to be broken, messed up. I've been on drugs before. I sold drugs. I know everything that's out here, I've done. So I understand it. So I'm an advocate for it. That's the reason why I go so hard for it. Speak and not be scared of nothing. You know, I'm fearless. I'm ready to go. Let's go, get it done. You know, a lot of people out here is about talking and talking and talking. Talking gets nothing. You got to put the work in, man. working.
Well, let me ask you this: with your Sons of Tomorrow program, please send the Richard Graves Group the information about that. I'm gonna press the line about that because that seems like a wonderful program, and it's worthy of funding, and is worthy of private investment. I'm going to bring it up. As you know, I'm supporting Mr. Ron Warman for Alderman at large. I'm going to bring it up to him. I'm going to bring it up to former Senator Schiff, who's running for governor of the state of Illinois. I'll bring it up to the Pritzker people that I know, because I did work for Governor Pritzker's campaign last time he ran. I apologize. We talk all the time, but we only talk about specific things. I didn't know you had that specific thing because, as you know, I'm about, positive prison reform. And the most positive prison reform is people not coming to prison. And you have programs that are ready to roll. Ready, very simple, not nothing complicated.
Ready to go.
That can really slow down the flow and help with the violence in Aurora. Because like when I was young with you, I worked for Aurora Township. They had summer programs for us, and it was an opportunity for the people from the east side of Aurora and the west side of Aurora to get to know each other outside of the negative bull junk that was going on. I remember specifically when we did that, we had Latinos and blacks and whites from East and West Aurora. You had guys who were affiliated or with the Latin Kings or with the Insane Deuces or with the Vice Lords or at the time the Black Gangster Disciples. They had us all together, had everybody all together, and people had to go, those of us that weren't banging, we was all together, DJs, break dancers, all of us. We got to know each other in an environment that was safe. We got to play basketball with each other, got to clean parks with each other and stuff. And I think that actually helped when people get those personal connections. They see each other not just as this and that, but as people.
I want to bring something back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
I definitely want to bring something back.
We're about at our time for this one. JL, I'm going to have you back on again because this is fascinating what I'm finding out. I encourage anybody in Aurora, all of you who are, who live in Aurora, write the mayor, write your alderman, and tell them this is what you want. I personally think that Mr. Harris needs to be in these schools talking to these kids, bottom line, because he needs to talk to them before. Junior high is a good place to start. We talked about Waldo, or now they call it middle school, but Waldo and Simmons and Cowherd and over at Washington and Jefferson, he needs to get in there and talk to these kids before they make these decisions to be gangbangers or to enact in this type of life, to slow it down. Because I said the best reform for prison is for people not to come in the first place. And the best thing to do about the violence in Aurora is to talk to the young folks so that they don't get involved in it to begin with. And I hope the mayor is watching or listening. And I hope, and like those of you guys from Aurora, write the mayor's office, call the mayor. I'm going to personally send an email and a letter myself saying, hey, we need to get this type of stuff in the schools. I'm not saying that they're not doing anything, but what they're doing effectively is not working. We need to try something different, or at least try something else in conjunction with what you're already doing to see, if we get a better result. So before we get off, JL, anything else you want to add?
No, I just want to say, brother, hey, I appreciate you, man. We always talk all the time. I know sometimes you be saying some crazy stuff on Facebook. I had to pick up the phone. You're like, hey, what are you doing? I said, what are you doing, sir?
That's you, Hamp, and Geneva, and Lindy. Sometimes like, okay, man, I'll get a phone. And Tammy Boat, they'll call me up like, what is this about? So. And we all were opinionated, man. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, but I am not above. I'm not above changing my position if I'm shown to be in error. So,
hey, no question. You know what I'm saying? I just want to say, man, hey, listen, man, I'm proud of you too, man, and much success for you and all the things you do, man. You inspired me too. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I got to get back on my book because you getting ready to drop another book. So I got to start working on my other book, man, and push it, man. If I can get it out in 2021, man, by the summer, man.
Well, you definitely encouraged me to finish this one up and tie this one up. It was a never-ending book, but mine's politics based. So every time I thought I was done, Trump would do something else. I'm like, damn, I got another chapter. So
But I want to send a shout out to my group on the move and all the people over there, man, and just tell them that to keep pushing, y'all. We gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. And shout out to Mr. Victor Woods, who's been an inspiration in my life. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of my business partners, and he's working with Kevin Hart now, so they're trying to get his movie to come out. So there's a lot of things moving that people don't know, but they're gonna see in the future. We're gonna be okay, and we're gonna be okay. Some understanding with leadership for all people can be able to sit at that table if we can really be Aurora strong.
Right. Well, as you all know, before we get off, since we talked about politics a bit, I myself, like I said, I'm encouraging and supporting Mr. Ron Warman for alderman at large. However, I'm going to have a talk with him, and I think I'll try to get you guys to sit down and talk about what they can do, with what he can do as an alderman and what he can do as a private citizen to help, out like the Sons of Tomorrow program, which I think is excellent. I think that needs to be implemented immediately. And you know how I get, Gerald. When I'm gonna press the issue, I'm gonna press the issue. I'm gonna press that issue. It needs to be done.
I appreciate that.
Miss Sherry Spears is running.
Yes.
For Roy Town, for her passionate sister, another one that'll reach out to me and tell me what she think about what I said. She'll let me know what she thinks about what I said.
She will let you know.
Real quick.
She will let you know.
So definitely support Sherry. I got Juan Reyna. He's actually running for office out there too. Support Juan. He's another good guy. He served the United States Army. I was in the Marine Corps, the Superior Branch at the time, but he was in the Army, and he's a good guy.
I like Alex Aurora too.
Yeah. And they all support. These are people that came up in Aurora that love the city, and they want to see good for it. At the end of the day, as long as you want to see good for it, I'm going to support you. Now, you guys know, obviously, I supported Mayor Irving before, I know that there are people that are upset with some things that he's chosen to do, and some things he's chosen to do that are very good. I personally still support Mayor Irving. I'm still endorsing Mayor Irving. However, I have some requests of Mayor Irving, and one of them is this Sons of Tomorrow program. And I'm going to contact the mayor's office and his campaign and say this is something that, I, as a political scientist, as a public policy individual, as a person who cares about working class people, black, brown, white, otherwise, that I think this is something to do to help me with my job of reentry by keeping people from coming to my prisons. I don't want to see that no more. And this is a program that I'm very excited about, and we'll talk a little bit more about it when, this week, we always talk once, twice a week. So we're going to chat about that.
And before you go, a shout out to my brother, John Laston, who's running for mayor. John has also been a great advocate for me. I really appreciate him, the work he has done with me. He has also been on the front line with me out on some of these challenges when we were talking small businesses. I am an advocate for small business, especially downtown Aurora, which is really hurting. They don't have the resource. There ain't some of those places down there. So I'm down there helping Chicano Times out with his quest down there for small business. And I'm advocate for small business too, because I'm a small business owner. But like I said, Aurora can be really great if all Aurora is working together. And that's what we need, from the grassroots from the bottom to the top. We all have to be in sync together to bring Aurora together for all people.
And that's a great message to end on, my brother. So I will see you all next week. Of course, on next Thursday, I got part 2 of my interview with Man Parrish. This time I won't be heavily medicated after surgery, so I'll be more engaged. But Man Parrish was very energetic anyway, so that's on the music show. And I'm gonna have J.L. back on, in probably a few weeks, so we can talk about more things that are going on as we get closer to this election. And in regard to keeping us up to speed, what's going on with this protest with the store over there on 31 in Jericho out in Aurora. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. God bless. Be safe. It's going to snow tomorrow. Go and get your pizzas and stock up and kick back and watch and get on Netflix and binge something. So I'll talk to you all later. God bless you. Peace.